Warning, this is not intended for one hater, but all haters. Haters make me famous. Haters make me famous. Haters make me famous. Haters make me famous. Haters.
Call it my battleground. I'm on that center stage where suckers be talking that, but not to my face. Making major moves while them haters prove nothing harder you shine. You know them haters come by the dozen. All them haters that be talking about us, they be hating on our grind, cause you know we coming up. We be spending all the time on these rhymes and the clubs. You can't steal my shine, cause I'm prime, never mind, cause fame and fortune be the only notion for them haters. Do many years in the game, so you know I pay my dues. No need for the fame, I'm taking names, so I know. And when Moshe blows up, I'm emailing all them.
Haters make me famous.
What the haters know about that Moshe music? Haters.
Haters make me famous.
I do this 25/8 pain and sweat on these tracks, haters.
Haters. Haters make me famous.
I have no dinner table, my studio is the kitchen. Haters.
Haters make me famous.
I got a degree on my wall, so it says I know what I'm doing. Haters.
Haters.
I dust off them haters, and then I take a pause. It's a shame that this game got us all so involved. They flapping their jaws and they grinding their teeth. Everybody fighting for the microphone on my beats. See my and my word is all I have. Call me Tony Montana on this label that I have. Having anger towards everyone reaching success. Haters coming and I'll be their number one prospect. I work real hard, it gains some respect. 24 hours on the beats and the internet. We fighting like some dogs, showing flaws with no regrets. While we fighting for the same bone on this conquest. Million man march occupies my mind frame. Yes, one man army with the heart of a terrorist. In my scope, I can see them haters running. No need to pull the trigger, cause I'm aiming for the sky, cousin.
Haters make me famous.
No need to lie my tracks, man, cause you know I'm the truth. Haters.
Haters make me famous.
Yeah, I'm a white boy from the south with do rag. So what? Haters.
Haters. Haters make me famous.
I'm a self-taught fool with knowledge. Haters.
Haters make me famous.
I don't give all y'all think. For real. Haters.
Haters make us famous. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cap Nation Live. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, the 28th of December. The year is almost over. Bowl games are in full swing, and we're finally getting to the good ones. What is going on, everybody? Chad, Rich, Manuel, Brandon. What? Pick 3. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Light little crowd this morning, but it's all good and dandy. I'm going to be taking a look at some college football today for everybody and see what kind of trouble we can get into, which I'm sure we can. Definitely sure we can. If you haven't already done so, hit that thumbs up button. We greatly appreciate it when you do. Most of you already have. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. First of all, congrats to everybody on premium plays yesterday. Nice big 2-0 day yesterday. And personal plays went 2-1 yesterday as well. Nice winning day there. Give me 1 second, guys. Alrighty, so who's ready for a monster week? Colorado Goose Hunter, good morning. I mean, we got a great time of year. We got NHL going on. We got college football, college basketball, NFL, NBA. I mean, what's not to love What's not to love? And we're making money. We're making money. Alex, good morning, sir. Alex, good morning, sir. By the way, there is a members-only video out. Anthony, good morning. Says we all do, right? No doubt about it. Members-only video is out. Charles says, I started hot and want to add on. Yes, sir. Alex says, we also have the NHL Game of the Year tomorrow. Yes, they are dropping that tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. It's definitely going to be a good one. These guys don't fuck around. They definitely don't fuck around when it comes to dropping their NHL. That is for sure. And I'm pumped. If you guys see what they do, and just in the NHL by itself, it's pretty fucking good. It's pretty damn good. So today we're going to get a good day. We get UCF and Duke coming out first. And then that's the early game. And then we move on to the afternoon games. Oh, I guess that is technically an afternoon game, right? Morning on the West Coast. 11 still. Then we get the 5:30 Eastern game, Kansas and Arkansas. Then Oregon and North Carolina, which I think has a little trappy to it. And then the evening time game, Texas Tech and Ole Miss. We got some good bowl games today. Tomorrow's bowl game schedule, listen to this. Syracuse, Minnesota. I mean, they're just going to get better. As the days get closer to New Year's, they're just going to get better. Syracuse and Minnesota in the Pinstripe Bowl. Then you get Oklahoma and Florida State in the Cheez-It Bowl. And then we get that Alamo Bowl. Barf. Poor Texas gets the Alamo Bowl against Washington. That's going to be an interesting game, though. And then what do you get on Friday? You get the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Maryland and North Carolina State. We get the Sun Bowl between Pitt and UCLA. We get the Gator Bowl, Notre Dame and South Carolina. We get the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl between Ohio and Wyoming. Boring. And then you get the Orange Bowl, Tennessee and Clemson to wrap up Friday. And then New Year's Eve, we get, obviously, the Sugar Bowl, Alabama and Kansas State. You get the Music City Bowl, Iowa and Kentucky. And then we get some college football semifinals action for the evening games with TCU and Michigan out here for the Fiesta Bowl, and then which I'm still debating on going. We shall see. And then we get, obviously, the Peach Bowl between Ohio State and Georgia. Mr. Reyes, good morning. Mr. Reyes, good morning. Family had a great Christmas. Little one had a great Christmas, and can't wait to see her in a few hours as soon as I get out of here. Give me 1 second. Alex, am I going to the Super Bowl? So, long story short, I might possibly. I fucked up. I had early access to buy tickets, and I signed in on the wrong fucking day. Because of being a season ticket holder for the Cardinals, they gave us early access in a lottery to buy tickets, and totally fucking fucked up and farmed that one. I could have just bought them just to sell them and probably made $20K at a minimum. Fucked up that one. I might go to the game still undecided. Obviously, I'll be Super Bowl partying it up. I usually have a fishing tournament during the Super Bowl, if you guys know. I usually am at Lake Havasu in a fishing tournament every year on the Super Bowl. But this year, I do not believe I have anything on the Super Bowl. So, I might either that or I might just have a really big fucking Super Bowl party. One or the other. One or the other. What about you, Alex? You going to the Super Bowl? Anybody going to the Super Bowl? Anybody coming out here for the Super Bowl? A lot of concerts, a lot of partying, a lot of fun. It's going to be fun. It'll be a hell of an environment, that's for sure. All right, so what we're going to do, not going to be live for too long. We're going to take a short little... Give me 1 second, guys. I ordered a coffee and they're having a hard time finding the office. Alex, you're going to be in Vegas? All right, guys, what we're going to do, we're going to take a short 2-minute break. I'm going to go get my coffee. I'll be in a much better mood, and then we'll be right back with you guys. The timer's going to say 2:32, but that's probably not the case, all right? Probably faster than that. So I'll see you guys in like just a couple minutes. Probably less than that. I just got to run to the front door. I'll probably down outside. But give me a couple minutes, get my coffee, and we're going to be breaking down the UCF and Duke game. All right, we're back. We're back. We're ready to rock. We're ready to roll. It's a little dull in here. While we get this first game day breakdown rolling. A little tune in the background. A little tune rolling in the background. Colorado Goose Hunter says, let's make some money. Alex, you guys remember, I used to always go to the Caesars Super Bowl party for years. Then they stopped having it from COVID, obviously. They're actually having it. I got an invite the other day if I wanted to go to the Caesars Super Bowl party. Always a lot of fun, but I'm thinking about having one myself because Super Bowl party, me, it's always a lot of fun. But nonetheless, I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to make some money today. Rich says extra large frappe latte latte chino. Just got me a little oat milk latte. Not trying to kill the diet. You know, I lost all that weight, and then I put like 20 pounds back on, moving from the other house to this house and being relaxed and not working out, and then finally got back into it and said, yeah, we're hammering at home, we're breaking personal goals and lifting heavier, and we're going to be cutting out some more fat. So, oat milk latte, baby. Still probably not the best for me, but hey, better than what I used to order. It sounded much like that extra large frappe latte latte chino. All right, before we jump into it, this is what I want to know. Before we jump into the game day breakdowns and take a look at these games today, college football playoffs. I'm pulling up the latest current odds to win it all. Georgia, minus 125. Michigan, plus 250. Ohio State, plus 350. And then TCU at plus 1,800. Who are you putting your money on? Who are you putting your money on? Post up in the comment section right now who you're throwing your money on. And I'll tell you who I'm putting my money on to win it all. Who I think has a legitimate shot, and no, it's not Georgia. Obviously, Georgia definitely the front runner, the favorite, probably rolls through everybody. But there's one team that I think gives Georgia a problem, and it's Big Blue. It's Jim Harbaugh and Michigan. I think it's the only team in the 4-team playoff that gives Georgia a problem. Assuming they don't fuck it up against TCU in the Fiesta Bowl, which is possible. I think it's Michigan. I think Michigan at plus 250 has some great value to it. Alex isn't taking Michigan for now, but that can change. Anthony, why do I think Michigan? From one, the way they're playing on offense in their front line, how they're able to effectively move the ball down the field, running and in the air. But most importantly, on defense. I think they are the most complete defense out of the 4 teams. I think they have the best defensive front line of the 4 teams, with the exception of maybe Georgia's. I think they're the only team that can give Georgia a problem. I think if they... Brandon just said it right there. I think they're the only team that can give Georgia a run for their money, assuming Harbaugh doesn't make any stupid coaching decisions, stupid coaching mistakes, or go into a complete meltdown, which we have seen over the past in just regular divisional big games. So, which honestly I don't think will happen. I said it in the beginning of the year, and I stand by that statement after like week 2 when I said Michigan's the total package this year. And I think Michigan has shown that. I like where they came in the rankings, that they're not going up against Georgia and obviously the playoffs, maybe the championship, assuming they both advance, which I believe they both will. But we'll talk more about that as we get closer to the 31st. But yeah, if you made me pick right now who my money's going on, it's going on Michigan to win it all. And that has no bearing on against the spread or anything of that nature. All right, UCF and Duke. UCF and Duke. By the way, there's a members-only play on this put out by the one and the only FC himself. That is himself, and his play. So if he fucks it up, don't be coming blaming me, all right? Don't be saying, Kyle, you suck with that members-only free play. I didn't pick it. But then again, when he wins, make sure you give all the credit to him as well. Because he's a good dude and he's got some good plays. All right. Of course, my phone doesn't go off all morning long. And then it goes off 100 times. Just while we're live. So, popping up the info for UCF and Duke. UCF went, 9-4 on the year straight up, 7-6 against the spread. And then you had Duke, 8-4 straight up, 8-4 against the spread. Lex Steele says, "Sup, it's been a long time. Happy holidays, Lex. Glad to have you here." Duke has won its last 5 against American Athletic teams, both straight up and against the spread. And then you've got UCF, who's 10-5 against the spread in the last 5 years versus an opponent after conference straight up win. And Duke is 8-3 to the under in the last 2 years when the line is 60 or more. When you get a big line on Duke, as far as a total, generally speaking, they go under. Military Bowl, here we go. Navy Corps Memorial Stadium. What are we going to get out of this game today? Get a cold one. Obviously, this one will be on ESPN. When you start looking at the game, the stats, and try and decipher, where should you really be putting your money? You got Duke laying 3, UCF catching 3. I believe that the money line's right around at 160. Total sitting at 62.5. A lot of these games can look like traps, especially when it comes to the total. You want to look like a total that could make you wonder. Look at the Oregon and North Carolina game. And we'll talk about that total when we get to that breakdown. You got UCF, who averages 34.4 points a game. Duke averaging 33.1 points a game. Duke going up against the likes of, when they're putting up those big points. Wake Forest, they put up 34. They put up 26 in a loss to Pitt. They put up 24 in a win to Virginia Tech. They put up 38 in a win over Boston College, 45 in a win over Miami, 35 in a loss to North Carolina. So you get where I'm going, right? Duke averaging 185 yards a game on the ground, 5 yards a carry, 236 in the air at 7.6 yards per passing attempt. You got UCF that averaged 7.6 yards per passing attempt, but they average 9 yards more per game at 245. They're also averaging 236 on the ground 236 on the ground at a very impressive 5.3 yards per carry. UCF can run the ball. UCF averages 13 run plays more than they do passing plays. And this team's averaging 481 yards a game on offense. Compared to Duke, which is still averaging, impressive numbers, 4-11. 4-11. Offensively wise, UCF has definitely blown them away. However, they are running 77 offensive plays a game compared to the 68 that Duke runs. Defensively, numbers are very similar in a few categories, except for one where there is a massive advantage. You got UCF. They give up 23.2 points a game compared to Duke, which is just 0.4 of a point less at 22.8. Duke gives up 3.7 yards per carry at 120 yards a game rushing. Can Duke stop UCF from running the ball? That is going to be the big test. If Duke can stop the UCF run, they will dominate. Plain and simple. They're giving up 262 in the air at 7.3 yards per passing attempt, so UCF airing it out down the field should have plenty of opportunities. And then you got UCF. That's giving up 4.6 yards a carry. 157 yards a game on the ground. Mo Harris, what's going on, brother? They're also giving up 226 in the air at 6.9 yards per passing attempt. But where the huge discrepancy is in the turnovers. While UCF is only -2 on turnovers, which is not bad for playing 13 games and you're only -2 in the turnover department. Duke is +14. $16 turnover differential in favor of Duke. Huge advantage in the turnover department in favor of Duke. As far as the total goes, what to expect? I go back and forth. We get a total of 62.5. We got defenses that are giving up a total of 46 points. You got offenses that are averaging 67.5. Something is going to break, offensively or defensively. I'm going to err on the side of caution. I like the over. I do. I like the over. I don't know if I'm in love with the over. I think the defense breaks down, as we see in quite a few bowl games. I think Charles says there it is. Dukies are ball hawks, right? They are, definitely. A lot of takeaways. They ended up +14 on the year in takeaways. That's not too shabby. But as far as the total, I think we see some points in this game. Right down to the very end, I think we see some points. There's a lot of people on the under, which probably steers me and makes me like the over even more. But I don't go... I don't base any of my picks or where I'm betting based on where everybody else is betting. To be honest, I can give a rat's ass. And a lot of you guys that have been with me for years know I don't fucking care where anybody's betting. You can tell me you're going to bet $1 million on the under. If I don't like the under, I'm not following you just because you just put money on it. Or because a bunch of ducks got in a row and quacked their way to the under. I make my decision based on the information at hand and where I feel the game is going to go. So I do lean towards the over. I think there are better plays out there today. I think there's a lot of better plays out there today. And that's where I'm going to focus on. And remember, you don't have to bet every game that's out there. And yes, Charles, that's a big factor. The takeaways, if the takeaways happen and create short fields for Duke, then obviously there's more points available. More points available to be scored a lot faster, etc., etc. Now, if they're doing takeaways in the red zone, and now they've got long drives, and then they're 3 and out, or a couple firsts, and then a 3 and out, then obviously we've got a possession game, and then it stays under. But if you're going to tell me there's going to be turnovers in the game, there's going to be takeaways by a certain defense, chances are they're going to happen on the other side of the field, where I would think. Charles says scoop and scores, pick 6 opportunities. I agree. I think it's going to be a sloppy game, and I think turnovers happen. And if they happen on the right side of the field, it helps the over. If it doesn't, it's going to be a slow-moving game, but I think eventually it'll get there. Once they get rid of a possession or two, when they're playing a possession game and somebody scores and they go to kick off again, and they're not pinning them back on a goal line, I think we start seeing some explosive plays by both offenses. And then obviously take away here and there. Moving right along, Kansas and Arkansas. Kansas and Arkansas, going to be another good one that I look forward to. Arkansas comes in only laying just an itty-bitty number of 2.5 against Kansas. But keep in mind, Kansas started the year, they were pretty good. Ended up 6-6 on the year. Somehow in a bowl game going up against 6-6 Arkansas. But remember, when you're Arkansas, you're not out recruiting the other teams in your conference. You're just not. Which means you're going to be lucky to go 6-6 each and every single year. Maybe you have a great year and go 8-4, but that would be amazing. 6-6 is great for Arkansas. It gets them into a bowl game. It gets them that little star. They get a nice little 5:30 Eastern time game on ESPN. And as far as the game goes, if you want to know what we're on the side, we've got to play on it as far as, as part of our bowl package. However, we're going to focus in on the total here, which is sitting at 68.5. You look at it and you're like, ooh, that's kind of a high total. It's Kansas, 6-6 on the year, 7-4-1 against the spread. And then you got Arkansas, 6-6. Mo Harris says it's a good possibility that Kansas wins outright, in my opinion. Between these two teams, any one of these teams can win. However, I've got a strong feeling as part of our bowl package on where the game's going to go, and that's the reason why it's one of the bowl plays. But you're right. They definitely will catch their breaks. Arkansas 9-2 straight up and against the spread in their last 11 games against the Big 12. Arkansas 8-2 against the spread their last 10 games versus the Big 12. Come on there. Kansas 26-11-1 to the over their last 5 years when coming off a straight up loss. Kansas lost 3 to end the year. They lost to Texas Tech, they lost to Texas, they lost to Kansas State. They lost 43-28. They lost 55-14, and they lost 47-27. What to expect in this one? You got Kansas all year long averaging 34.2 points a game. They're at, compared to Arkansas that averaged 30.7 points. So a little over a field goal, more than what Arkansas is averaging on offense. Arkansas is averaging 46 offensive snaps by run. They're averaging 46 run plays a game, 224 a game on the ground, 4.9 yards a carry, and just 27 passing plays at 229 in the air at 8.4 yards per passing attempt. Whereas you got Kansas that's averaging only 60 offensive snaps a game. Whereas you got Arkansas that's averaging 73. Kansas averaging 194 a game on the ground and a very impressive 5.6 yards per carry and 230 in the air at 8.8 yards per passing attempt. When you look at the defenses, both are giving up a huge amount of points. 38.8 for Kansas, 28.8 for Arkansas. Arkansas giving up 180 yards a game on the ground, 4.8 yards a carry, and 273 in the air at 8.4 yards per passing attempt. Then you got Kansas giving up 194 a game on the ground, 4.5 yards a carry, and 257 in the air at 7.7 yards per passing attempt. Turnovers, 5 turnover differential in favor of Kansas, who's +4 to the -1 of Arkansas. Not a huge advantage on turnovers at all. As far as total in this one, I think 68, when I first looked at it, I said 68 and a half. That's kind of high. But, I don't. I mean, both defenses are giving up 61.4 points combined. Both offenses are scoring 64.9. And then you get a total that's higher than all of those. So you got to ask yourself, where's the trap? Where's the trap? What do they know that we don't know? All right? Why are they trapping us where it opened at 68.5 and now it's sitting at 70? You got a very, very, very insanely high total. And you know what? I think it's still going to end up low. I think at one point we see a live total in the 80s. All right? I think we see a live total in the 80s. I think there's going to be a lot of points on both teams. However, I want to say the over. But I can't. As much as I want to say the over, I can't. I think the smart play on this one is the under. To me, it's a stay away. To me, it's let's not fuck with it too much. I think there's better opportunities. All right? I think there's better opportunities out there to put your money on. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I think there's better opportunities. That's what I would do if it was me. And it is me, so that's what I'm doing. I'm taking a pass on the total, but if you made me do it, I would take the under. If you made me do it, I would take the under. All right? That's where I would go. That's where I would go. Everything that I heard, KJ Jefferson is playing, from what I heard. I haven't seen that he's out. Nothing new. I had a runny nose this morning. I had a sneezing attack earlier. And it's coming back to get me, but of course I don't have any Kleenex in here. All right, let's just bust through it. All right, moving on down the list. I Create Anger. What's going on, man? Glad to have you back. If you guys haven't done so, please do hit that thumbs up button. We greatly appreciate it when you do. And by the way, don't forget, the NHL Game of the Year is tomorrow. The NHL Game of the Year, and I don't have any say in that. I have no part in the NHL plays. We've got guys that specifically do that, and hats off to them because they're absolutely flipping phenomenal. If you guys are not part of the NHL Game of the Year, you need to go get on it. That way you don't miss out. It is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a big moneymaker for everybody tomorrow. All right? That is tomorrow, folks. That is tomorrow. Rumor is the play will be posted later on tonight. Instant access, no upsells, no games, no gimmicks, none of that shenanigans. And holy smokes, Michael Wynn is back. Cocaine and coffee is back, baby. Let's go. That's what it says in the comment section. Welcome back, Mr. Wynn. Glad to have you. It's been a while since you've joined us on a live show. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on. All right. Somebody asked what I was doing. I said, filming a live show. I Create Anger says, I want to work for a sports betting company. Shit would be dope. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of fun. You never know, we might be hiring in the near future and doing some fun little projects. So keep your ears out for that one. All right, so back into the next one. North Carolina, Oregon, game 249-250. Line opened up, Oregon laying 14.5 with a total of 73.5. That is obviously not the case now. That line is now down to 13.5, but the total has gone up 2 more points. What's up, Chris? What's up, Chris? How are you, sir? The total on this one has risen. He has rose to 75.5. The total is sky high in this San Diego game. All right, game taking place in San Diego, so no mistake about that one. The Holiday Bowl, San Diego, great weather. However, it's raining in Arizona. It might be raining in San Diego. All right, I haven't looked at the weather in San Diego, but you know what? It might be the perfect opportune time to see. It's fucking dumping here where I'm at right now. Let's pull it up. And let's see what the weather is. Unless somebody's here in San Diego and can just tell us what the weather is, it would save me the time of the Weather Channel updating, because it wants to tell me it's raining where I'm currently at. We don't want San Diego, Spain. High surf advisory, mostly cloudy. Let's see, hourly temps. Of course, there's an ad now. And how do you close the ad? There we go, close. No rain in the forecast for San Diego. Looks cloudy and beautiful weather. Alex said nothing is better than a Bailey's and coffee. Sounds great. Sounds great. Alrighty. I create anger. Love it. Now, if you guys are cool, you got these emojis if you remember. Some of you do. Some of you do. All right. Oregon, top team trends. Oregon 51-24 against spread their last 75 games when playing on a grass field. Imagine that one. Oregon 13-5-1 to the over. 13-5-1 on the over in their last 19 games versus an opponent who's had to travel 1,500 miles or more. Pac-12 teams have lost 9 straight Holiday Bowl games against the spread and going only 1-8 straight up. Can a 9-4 North Carolina who went 5-7-1 against the spread beat an Oregon team that went 9-3 in the Pac-12, 8-4 against the spread? They did have that first game of the season against Georgia where they got walloped. They got demolished. They just got beat down in a 49-3 embarrassing, fucking embarrassing loss for the Pac-12 to start the season, if you guys remember. Yeah, they came back and they beat a very weak, I almost said weak BYU 41-20. Other than that, who did they beat? UCLA 45-30. They didn't beat Washington. They got beat by Washington 37-34. And Oregon State beat them at the end of the year 38-34. They did beat Utah, who beat my USC Trojans twice. Just totally fucking beat our dreams down. Oregon's going to be a tough team. But when you look at North Carolina, on average, who are their opponents? They lost to Notre Dame by a touchdown. They're playing Virginia Tech. They're playing the Miamis. They're playing the Dukes, who we just broke down the game over. They're playing Pitts, Virginia, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, NC State, and Clemson. Now, they are coming off 3 straight losses, losing to Clemson 39-10. They lost to Georgia Tech 21-17. And they lost to NC State 30-27. Can we turn it around and end the year on a high note? Can we take a learning lesson and turn it into a positive to end the season for North Carolina? They're catching nearly 2 touchdowns. When you take a look at the offenses, Oregon averaging just under 40 points, 39.7. North Carolina averaging 35. North Carolina averaging 156 a game on the ground at 4.3 yards per carry, as well as 317 in the air at 8.4 yards per passing attempt. Oregon, on the other hand, averaging 216 a game on the ground, 5.5 yards per carry, and 291 in the air at 8.7 yards per passing attempt. When you look at the defenses, because that's where you're really going to have to look at what do they give up? Turnovers, everything, right? North Carolina averaging giving up 31 points a game, 27.4 for Oregon. Oregon gives up 125 a game on the ground, 4.3 yards per carry. North Carolina gives up 162 a game on the ground at 4.4 yards per carry. Those secondaries, what are they giving up? 7.9 yards per passing attempt for North Carolina and 7.2 for Oregon. 276 to 261, pretty even. Turnover differential, major in favor of Oregon. North Carolina, -1. Not a bad number. Not a bad number at all to end the season, -1, losing your last 3 games of the year, yada, yada, yada. Oregon, +10 in the turnover department. +10, 11 turnover. Oregon, that's why I believe we see this as a 2-touchdown spread. They're factoring in an extra turnover, an extra possession, and an extra score for Oregon. If North Carolina can control the turnovers and limit the turnovers they give up on offense, I do believe they can hang strong. If they can control and limit their turnovers on offense, they can protect the football. I believe they can hang tough. They had some great wins: Virginia Tech, Miami, Duke, Pittsburgh, Virginia, Wake Forest. They also beat App State, who would probably beat some of those Pac-12 teams. They beat a Georgia State, who would probably hang tough with the Colorados and the Cows. That Oregon beat up on. Oregon averages, 73 offensive snaps a game? To the 74 of North Carolina. I don't believe it's going to be a possession thing. But I think we see a lot of runs. And I think we see some punts. I think we see a possession game. And I think we see an under. I could be very wrong about this one. But I don't think that I am. I am all over the under 75.5. Putting it in the comment section. Free play is the under 75.5. However, the total has risen 2 points. Holiday Bowl, great weather. I think there'll be more people that push the total up. I think it's beneficial to wait. Now, if you start seeing the total creep down, then fire away and bet it away. But I think we squeeze an extra half a point to a full point out of it, and we get the total even higher to take the under. So in my opinion, it's best to wait until later to bet this game. My opinion. I'd wait closer to kickoff, which is at 8 p.m. Eastern time. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Excuse me on the time fuck up. As far as the side goes, if you made me choose, I'd take North Carolina. I'd take North Carolina plus the 2 touchdowns, call it a day. I think they keep it close. I think it's a lower scoring game. My opinion. Now the next one. AJ, good morning. Yeah, it was the very first one that we did. There's also a members-only free play on that for all YouTube-exclusive members. The next one, Texas Tech and Ole Miss. What to expect in this one? Line opened up at 3.5, favoring Ole Miss. Good morning, Lance. No, we're talking about it right now. Total opened up at 69.5. The side has stayed the same at 3.5. The total is now up 2.5 points to 72. We got a sky-high total. The last 4 head-to-head matchups have all gone over the total. Texas Tech is 20-18-1 against the spread versus an opponent who's a non-ranked team. Texas Tech 22-7-1 to the over. The last 30 games went on a winning streak of 3 games or more. When Texas Tech is on a winning streak of 3 games or more, they're 22-7-1 in their last 30 games to the over. They've won 3 straight. 2 of their last 3 games have gone over. However, Ole Miss, which, by the way, has lost 3 straight games, losing Alabama 30-24, losing to Arkansas 42-27, and losing to Mississippi State to the late Mike Leach's team, which, by the way, is horribly sad and he's going to be missed in college football. And it's just his persona and personality. That's a sad deal. But it's fitting that Lane Kiffin was the last one to lose to him, both coming out of the Pac-12 and coaching against each other for absolute years. But yeah, they lost to Mississippi State 24-22 in a very close game as well, where they were favored in that game. They covered the spread against Alabama when they were an 11-point dog. And 2 of their last 3 games have gone under the total. However, they did have that, little 4-game stretch where they went over the total against Vandy, Auburn, LSU, and Texas A&M. So, there's definitely signs of, some big offensive numbers and capabilities for the Ole Miss team. But where I think Ole Miss is going to excel is defensively. Ole Miss, averaging 34 points a game on offense. Give me 1 second. My computer just froze with all my stats and information, so bear with me. Okay, I'm back up. It's back up. Kiffin was underneath coaching tree, right? No, not under his coaching tree. He coached against him, but he's been able to work with former players and former coaches that worked under Mike Leach. So, he's both in the Pac-12 in all their directions, and then obviously the SEC. But yeah, not underneath him, but he's had coaches work for him, and he's worked alongside coaches that have worked with him directly. So, pretty damn close if you ask me. Ole Miss averaging 34.2 points per game compared to the 33.6 of Texas Tech. Texas Tech averages 152 yards a game on the ground. I think that's going to be where they struggle in this one. They average 152 at 3.8 yards a carry. They average a nice, impressive 307 yards in the air at 7 yards per passing attempt compared to the 230 in the air of Ole Miss, which is averaging 8 yards per passing attempt. But again, where I think this game's going to be won is on defense. You got Ole Miss giving up just 24.2 points a game on defense compared to the 29.5 of Texas Tech. Texas Tech gives up 166 a game on the ground, 4.2 yards a carry, and then 248 in the air at 7.8 yards per passing attempt. whereas Ole Miss has given up very similar rushing numbers at 4.1 yards a carry versus 4.2. But they're giving up just 6.7 yards per passing attempt at 218 yards a game in the air. Turnover differential in favor of Ole Miss. Texas Tech -8, Ole Miss +1. On average, point differential for Ole Miss is 10 compared to 4.1 of Texas Tech. Turnover advantage, 9 turnover advantage for Ole Miss. I think that comes into play today. I think Ole Miss comes out ready to fire. They're another team that lost 3 straight, whereas, their opponent won 3 straight, beating Kansas, Iowa State, and then obviously a huge monster win over Oklahoma in a game that we saw 99 points. Do we see that here? No. If you go back and you look at the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ole Miss games, we saw 65, 59, 54, 69, and 46 points. That's what we saw scored. We got a total of 72. I like the under. I don't know how much I like it, but I like the under. I think it's worth a small wager. I'm not going to put it out there as a free play, but I'm going to bet the under, and it's going to be just a small little, like a little FC strong lean for a half a unit. All right? Basically, if you're betting the UFC and you got a strong lean from FC, that's what I'd be doing today. I like the under. All right? I like the under. I think we see the under. Chris Wilkie, thanks for jumping on board. The NHL guys, NHL Game of the Year. Alex, I see that you did as well. Let's see. Corey Ledbetter, I know you did as well. If you guys are not on the NHL Game of the Year, get it. Get it now. Don't miss out. It is going to be a monster. All right? It is going to be a monster, and it's going to put all that money in your pocket. So, today, gave you guys a free play in the video, or in this live show. There's a daily free play out with a nice college basketball free play that I put out. FC put out a college football free play in the Duke and UCF game as a members-only play. If you're not a part of that, go get on it, and let's make some money today. A lot of fucking money to be made today, guys. A lot of money to be made. It's going to be fun. So, with that being said, if you haven't done so, which a lot of you haven't, please do. Bless us with a big thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. All right? We greatly appreciate it. Let's have some fun. Let's make some money. And you know what? Let's hammer the books. All right? Let's hammer the books. And we'll see you guys all live tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be live again tomorrow. All right, guys? Good luck, everybody. Wager responsibly. And we'll see